Hello everyone, welcome back to How We Felt About. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today Eric and I are going to talk about Rampage. And Rampage is going to be the one and only item for How We Felt About. So it's going to be like a classic How We Felt About in that we're talking about one thing, but not in that we're writing boards. Because we just haven't done that in a really long time, yep. So why start now? So we're gonna talk about how we felt about the new disaster-y slash
giant monster movie,
video game movie Rampage, a thing that I never thought I would see a movie based on.
No.
I thought with trailers this looked like a really fun movie. It was a really cool idea, and I have liked Dwayne Johnson a lot lately. And
because you really like Jumanji.
Yeah, and that was a great project. He doesn't always pick good projects. You can't go, oh, this is going to be good because he's in it.
Yeah.
You know it's going to have a bigger budget now because he's in it, because he's commanding $20 million a movie, and he's one of the only actors that does that these days with where Hollywood is, and you know how much in shambles some of it is, except for some of the big giant blockbusters like superhero movies. But I digress. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Eric, why don't you start? Just tell us your basic thoughts, how you felt walking out of Rampage.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. It's one of those movies where I don't know if it's self-aware or not. Like, there's a point where The Rock gets shot, and then a scene later, he goes, well, they just missed all the vital organs. That can either be lazy writing or intentionally silly, and I don't know which, but I'm going with it.
Okay.
A lot of that stuff, I think the movie's having a lot of fun. I think, what's his name, the comedian shows up and just steals the whole movie. I think he's wonderful.
He does. Yeah. Yeah, he's fantastic. That's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
And we spend the whole movie building up to this one big fight, which is amazing. And after this and Skull Island, Godzilla 2 has a lot to compete with. And also, this is what I wanted at the end of Godzilla 2014. We're like, they spent the whole movie like,
slow build.
Yeah, we're slow build, but then we're gonna have a cool fight, and the fight's just okay. This is the fight I wanted. It's awesome. It's like the entire third act of the movie is just this giant monster fight that I love.
During the day.
Yeah.
And the CG is as good as it is.
The CG's wonderful in this movie. I had a lot of fun.
The close-up on the ape's hand at the end.
Yeah.
Really impressive. Just all the contours and yeah.
I was also surprised by how, I'll use the word adult or mature it was. Not mature is the wrong word. I'll use the word adult in that...
Lowercase m.
Yeah. In that I loved the violence, and because of the violence I was okay with some of the more adult humor. It's not a movie you can take kids to. It's a PG-13 movie you can't take kids to, or maybe you shouldn't. But like, I didn't care because the rest of the movie was also that way too. It's not one of these movies where I'm like, everything about this is totally kid appropriate except for this one joke or this one kind of joke. The entire movie is that way.
It gives it to us up front. It opens with a pretty gruesome scene.
Yeah.
The thing in space.
Yeah.
There's blood everywhere, and like it tells you right away that it's going to be a little bit closer to like Predator than it is to like Independence Day.
Yeah. One of my big things watching that trailer is I was like, it sucks that we're not going to get to see him eat anybody because it's a real sanitized PG-13 movie. And they eat people, and not only do they eat people like they do in the game, where it's just, like, and I really like that. I really liked a lot of that. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I like that it's a movie. I like that there's no sequel bait.
That's true. Yeah.
It, in a certain way, took me back to films of my youth, like Independence Day, where like it felt like just it's not a smart movie, but like it doesn't insult me either. It's a big, dumb, fun action movie for me, and I enjoyed it a lot. I will say I am feeling it.
So this is weird because I agree with most of what you said, and I didn't care for this movie at all.
No, you did not. I was sitting next to you.
I did not have a good time. Until the third act, I was pretty bored, and I was looking at my watch, and I had other things on my mind. I think this movie is... So a lot of the couple of negatives that Eric lobbed at it are just a bigger problem for me. Mm-hmm. So you're going to agree with what I'm going to say, but it's not going to bother you as much.
Yes.
It's totally inconsistent.
I see. I don't agree with that. I don't think it's totally inconsistent.
But you said things that basically amount to totally inconsistent. So you said it doesn't know what kind of movie it is.
No. I said I don't know if it knows. Okay. I don't know if it knows.
That screams total inconsistency to me. Like,
okay.
Like
I don't ever think it's inconsistent about it. I'm just not sure if it's poking fun itself or if it's just written that way.
Okay, see, so I guess you won't agree with us. The issue is, for me, there are scenes where it's the fun, over-the-top, we're supposed to be enjoying the violence movie that it was advertised as, and then there are a lot of other scenes that just take themselves too seriously. I don't know if I'm supposed to be inspired to take a stand about animal rights and about the environment and about big business messing with those things for their own gain, or if that stuff is just supposed to be the background of the set dressing. Too often it feels like it's trying to tug at my heartstrings or something with that stuff, and frankly, some of that stuff I was a little bit insulted by. I gotta be honest with you.
I thought most of it was good enough. The Rock's backstory might be a little too extreme for this movie, but I did like the scene.
I like the acting. I think he's playing it well. I also don't think every performance is great in this. You like the girl better than I did.
I do. I like her a lot. She's Moneypenny in the current James Bond films.
See, maybe some of that is just because you have experience with her. I didn't think they had very much chemistry at all.
I don't think they have a lot of chemistry, but I like her.
I liked her more at the beginning, and I thought her acting waned. I thought she was fine initially, and I thought it started to drop off. I liked Jeffrey Dean Morgan a lot, and I liked his kind of turn. I felt like I expected that to go a particular way, and it didn't, and it won me over on it. That was very impressive. The action is wonderful. It looks really, really good. The CG is great throughout, and I saw something. I won't spoil it. We do spoilers with this sometimes, but I don't know how many people are actually seeing this movie.
It involves a helicopter. If you've seen the movie, you know what this is.
There's this, I've never seen that before. But things like that were wonderfully over the top and impossible and out there in a movie that sometimes I feel like is that kind of movie and sometimes isn't. And so it's kind of totally inconsistent. I also think that maybe this is somewhat of a taste issue. I don't think it's a great script. There are a lot of jokes that fall really flat for me.
And I was laughing more than you were.
Aren't funny at all. And like, you have to work harder to win me over in a movie like this because I don't automatically want to be there. Is part of the thing. But I saw the trailer and thought that this could be really super fun, and then it wasn't as absurd as it should have been for how absurd it gets at the end. Is my thing. I think it's a different movie at the end, and it's the movie I went there to see. But there's only about 25 minutes of the movie I went there to see, and that's a problem. I'm not saying that it's bad that it takes as long to build to it as it does. It's just not. You say it's really fun. I don't think it's fun until then, except for Morgan.
Like, no, I was having fun the whole way through.
Wow, yeah. I don't get it. I don't see it.
There is one scene where we get everyone's backstory and it drags really hard.
Yeah.
But other than that, I had fun with Rock at the beginning. I had fun with the wolf attacking Deathstroke.
See, you put this. I'm not saying you're putting it in the same category necessarily, but you mention it in the same breath as Skull Island. I think I'm
only talking about the action.
I get that. I think I like this movie a lot less because I saw that. I mean, I think that raised a little bit of a bar, and I was not like in love with that movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good, but that movie was able to, within its context, be serious enough for me to appreciate character arcs, but it stayed at a particular brand of absurd and out there throughout. This didn't have that. It waffles. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna go with a not feeling it. I didn't like this movie. I like the end of this movie. It's what I was hoping for the whole movie, but it was too much of. It was too boring to get there, for me.
No, I think that's fair.
So yeah, Eric and I decisively. Not in agreement.
Yeah.
With this particular movie. And I had flashes of Ninja Turtles 2014. Like just some really typical dime a dozen. I've been here 100,000 times, and you guys should be better than this because in other places you're having fun and showing me things I haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
So the writing wasn't up to spec, I didn't think, with the action.
Mm-hmm.
And the villain hurt it.
She's not
she's
great.
horrible.
But I've never liked her in anything I've ever seen her in.
Me neither. But it kind of screamed, we spent a lot of money on The Rock and we just don't have anything left over. I mean, like...
Yeah.
I had that with the casting. With a lot of this, where it was just, we couldn't get anybody else that's in The Rock's league. Because, and he was great. I even think his character's a little bit inconsistent, where there's just places where he's having a lot of fun and places where he's overly serious and they're not quite meshing. I don't mean that people don't have different sides to their personality, but it didn't seem like the same guy all the time.
Do you want to talk about the real thing that killed it for you immediately? From opening credits.
I don't even know what you're talking about right off.
It's preceded by a trailer.
Yeah. So, no, we're going to talk about that later.
Okay.
That is going to come up on the omnibus. Yeah, this can sometimes be a problem, and I will admit that this might have influenced me some. I still don't know that I would have liked this movie that much.
No, I don't think you would have either.
But when you... I don't even want to say what
But
it
it
is.
starts you off on the wrong foot. There was a trailer that plays before this movie. After a bunch of really bad trailers, we see a trailer...
and we just lost it.
Yeah,
we lost
just
our minds.
And we were the only ones in the theater laughing that
You can go
hard.
ahead and say what it is if you want to, but we're going to talk about it later.
There's a movie coming out called Tag, which is about a group of friends who apparently their entire life have been playing one continuous game of tag.
We just thought it was hilarious, and
And
we
it
couldn't
looks
stop
amazing.
laughing. Yeah,
and
it's a
then-
really well put together trailer.
It's a really well put together trailer, and
It's
then the
so
movie
absurd.
starts.
And, yeah, and I just...
And we're still laughing. Like, as Universal logo comes up, we are still laughing about the Tag
And it's
trailer.
one of those trailers that made me forget what I went there to see, and then, oh, now I gotta watch Rampage, you know? So anyway, that's it. Anything else you want to talk about? 'Cause,
No.
I mean, I spent a few minutes complaining about it. I mean, like...
I think it's unfortunate that a movie like this can only get made because it's called Rampage.
Yeah?
We're not going to spend a bunch of money on putting The Rock in a giant monster movie. We have to somehow tangentially make it to another property, which... I mean, this could have been anything, right? Like, this didn't have to be Rampage. There's a couple of things that are, like, token... Like, apparently... Like the villain is wearing a red dress at the end of the film because all of the women that you grab out of the buildings are wearing red dresses and things like it's a lot of things like that where I'm like, and
But
honestly, it's
there's
not the plot.
a lot of substance there
in
in the first place.
Well, it's not the plot of Rampage because the one thing that we know about the plot of Rampage is that they're people that got turned into giant monsters and sometimes they shrink back to normal people.
We don't do that at all.
We don't do that.
There's not a people component except that it's humans that make it happen. But then it's I mean it feels like an almost like alternate Planet of the Apes, really.
It's unfortunate that this has to be a pre-established IP. It couldn't just be a big fun monster movie. That's my biggest thing against it. Is like this doesn't feel like Rampage. I don't care because I enjoyed the movie, but
they did have fun. Yeah, the thing is that movie would have to be monsters rampaging the whole time. You would have to have a lot more monsters. They would have to be all over the world like they are in the game,
Yeah.
which I would have kind of liked.
Yeah.
If we'd done something like that, but. I do think it's kind of fun that, like, I like that we have a sympathetic monster.
Mhm.
That's a thing that I like.
Yep.
I read a review that claimed that was kind of too easy, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't agree.
But we have a kind of sympathetic monster without giving too much away, and I guess in that sense you could say that like once a certain thing happens with him, it's like now that you're on his side, it's like. You'd be controlling him in the game or something.
Yeah.
But then you're always trying to kill people and eat people in the game.
Yeah.
So I guess it isn't like that. So
yeah,
much.
no, it's not really like Rampage.
Yeah.
But I don't care because like I enjoyed this movie. So are you with Ubol's hashtag fake Rampage campaign? Are you gonna start doing that?
No. I mean, I hate this movie. I don't think it ripped him off or anything. But of course she had to bring that up. No, I didn't.
No, yeah.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah. That's fair.
But I can see why. I can see why you enjoyed a lot of this. There's some stuff I don't.
And also, in defense of this movie,
there were things you laughed at I simply didn't think were funny.
In defense of this movie and of me, I don't get a lot of these.
Also, some of that, but yeah, sure.
I don't get a lot of giant robots, and I don't
place,
get a lot of giant monsters.
You've hurt me on this because
I'm showing you the best stuff.
I have started to like some of these monster movies better and I know where the bar is, and I don't need these all the time, and I haven't seen a lot of what's there already. So, like, I might have that if I was a huge fan of this, and I'd already milked it all. But there's still movies to be milked, and so I'm, you know, so that's where we're at. So I don't know, if you are already a giant monster fan, you might feel the way Eric did, or you might be more critical. I don't know. That's the thing I never know about with things like this. It's like, or you're gonna be more or less critical because you're a big fan of it. You know, I never know that with science fiction things. So yeah. Well, thanks a lot for watching this. If you're watching it as its own video, if you're watching the Omnibus, we're gonna move right along. This was us today. If you saw Rampage, let us know how you felt about it in the comments.